Let's imagine that your latest artwork just won a major competition. Or perhaps your latest single just went to #1 on the charts. Only artificial intelligence was the true creator of these things. Is it right to take the accolades, the fame, and the fortune that go along with these accomplishments? You know, AI has been around for decades and certainly has been in the public conversation in recent years with self-driving cars and social media algorithms. And today, with generative AI, we're seeing a real disruption in the creative space. Because now someone with no specific training or education or skill can create anything they want. In just a matter of moments, if you want a picture of a goat on a roof in the style of Picasso, you can have it. Or perhaps you want a poem about forests. It's just a few seconds away. So we're at a moment of inflection with AI and creativity. We need to determine how we can best move forward with these two things in our society. Now, perhaps the first thing that we have to unpack a little bit is just the definition of, is what AI generates, can it be considered art or not? And I think if we look at a couple of different characteristics of art, certainly it's subjective, right? But I think aesthetically, if we look at a series of images here, these are all AI generated. Now, they're all different styles, and you can see how each of them has their own characteristics. They're all aesthetically pleasing, though, and I think we can argue that they're fine to look at. There's nothing particularly wrong with them. And so it's reasonable to say that they're aesthetically pleasing. But what about commercial viability? Will people actually pay for images like this? Well, just the AI portion of the art market is growing to be a $1 billion market over the next 10 years. Now, that's a small fraction of the $65 billion global total market for art. But you can tell that it's increasing year over year. So you can see that there's value in the aesthetics and there's value in the commercial. But what about the value of human creativity? Humans, of course, long thought to be the only ones that have access to creativity because of our intuition, our relationships, our emotions, our morals, all of these things that inform creativity for a human. And AI is simply just good at math. It's good at matching patterns, and it's good at finding the next item in a sequence. But the two together can do very powerful things. Years ago, I was interested in doing a little painting. And so one year for Christmas, my wife had given me a kit that had a canvas and had paints and brushes and a series of step-by-step instructions that at the end of the process would yield a beautiful painting. So I set to work putting paint on canvas bit by bit, and I very soon realized that what I was creating would in no way resemble the picture on the box. And I was discouraged by this, and I set my painting aside. And for years, it lived in a place of high honor in my home, my garage. And I've brought that painting for you here today. This is my masterpiece. Now, normally this is behind 2 inches of bulletproof glass. But I thought it would be interesting to look at what AI can do with something that was started by a human and potentially extended with artificial intelligence. So I used a program called Midjourney. I took a picture of this painting, and I uploaded it into Midjourney. And I asked it to extend the painting. I asked it to take what it found and make something new out of it. And in just a few moments, I got this. Now, all I prompted it was, I want a mountain, I've got some water, and I want some forests, some trees. And it gave me a variety of options in just a few seconds. Now, one of the questions we have to answer about AI as a creator is, who's the author? Who's the real author of these kinds of images? Of course, I put paint on canvas, so that one's easy. When AI took over, is it the platform? Is it my prompting? Maybe it's the programming team that assembled the AI model. It's questionable in terms of how you can assign authorship. And perhaps we need to reframe how we think about authorship in this new age of artificial intelligence. Now, we, of course, as humans, can hold copyright because we're people. AI cannot hold copyright because it's not a person. And perhaps that also is something that needs to be evaluated. How do we consider legal ownership of AI moving forward? Now, thus far, we've been talking about AI as images. And it applies really to every medium, not just what you see on the screen. It applies also to the music industry. The music industry today is using a variety of AI tools to mix and master songs, to compose new ideas. But did you know I can create an entire song with lyrics, with melodies, with guitar solos, with an artificial AI voice in a matter of seconds by just providing a genre of music and a topic? So I'd like to play for you just a small snippet of something I call TED Talk Blues.
TED Talk Blues, I stand tall, electric currents through it all. Ideas sparking, no fear of fall. TED Talk Blues, I heed the call.
That is entirely artificial intelligence. Now, if you heard that on the radio, you'd think, that's a legitimate song. Someone went into a recording studio and recorded that and mixed it and mastered it and released it. And you wouldn't necessarily know that it took a guy 30 seconds to put that together online with an AI tool. This is the power of what AI can do in today's world. You were fooled by this, right? You don't necessarily think that AI is doing these kinds of things. So AI is very powerful in its ability to deceive. You may have heard of the term deepfake in the past. And a deepfake is purely a manufactured image, typically of someone famous or a politician in some embarrassing situation, that's designed to influence those that see it. And I'll tell you that today, all of you have been exposed to a deepfake. Because a few weeks ago, when we put together the speaker list for this conference, and I provided this image, this is not a real image. I manufactured this image with AI. I programmed an AI model with my likeness. And I put myself in the benign situation of speaking at a conference. And if you know me, that looks like me. And even if you don't know me, this was presented as fact, so you accepted it. Now, this should scare you because you have to ask the question, what else have you been deceived by? What else have you seen or heard that isn't real, but is presented as such? And in today's world, the technology allows for these things to occur very easily. Now, there are a number of ethical situations that we have to deal with related to AI. We've talked about a few of those here so far. When we build an AI model, the AI model is built with taking millions upon millions of documents from all over the internet. Every nook and cranny of the internet is scoured for information to build an AI model. That could be a set of images, that could be songs, that could be PDF documents or Word documents, every imaginable piece of content. And the question that we have to ask is, did someone ask permission? Were proper rights given? Was consent given to use that content? Because a lot of it is copyrighted, and it's just taken. The other issue that we have is one of bias. This same content that is used to populate these models is chock full of bias. And when that bias is input into a model, it's reflected in the output that we receive. So, as an example, if I ask an image model to give me a picture of a group of CEOs speaking with one another, I might get this. Now, what do we see with this? It's all white males. There's no diversity in these pictures. No people of color, no women. And we know that's not representative of CEOs. So, unless you're looking at this content with a critical eye and understanding that the biases exist, you're going to propagate the bias and just use the photos, right? You're going to use these images. So you have to look critically upon the data that is coming out of these AI tools. Ultimately, there's very little transparency in the tools, in the models that are out there today. They're kind of black boxes. We don't really understand the content that's in them or the biases. It's just something for us to use. So our society today is at a bit of a crossroads. We have an opportunity where we are today with AI to influence and form how it is going to be adopted and used into the future. Because today there's a level of distrust with AI. There's a level of uncertainty about how AI is going to be used. And so we have to understand that today we can influence how these models are built, how we use these models. Because fast forward 30 years, we are going to take AI for granted. AI is going to be part of our world, part of every service, part of every component that we work with. Education, medical, the legal system, every imaginable component of our society will have an aspect of AI. It's already getting out there. So as you leave here today, there are a couple of challenges. The first is advocate for good AI models. Advocate for models that are free of bias, that are transparent, where appropriate rights are granted. But more importantly, think about how you are using AI tools today. AI is not evil, right? AI is a great tool. It has amazing capabilities. It can make us so much more efficient in taking on tasks that we don't want to do. But we have to think about using it appropriately. My example of using it to just build a song and take credit for it, that's an ethical problem. We have to use AI in the right ways. Now, why do I say all these things? Why is that important? Because today, in this very moment, AI's capabilities are the very worst they are ever going to be. Thanks.